Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So, there is a discussion going on about what a humanoid robot would actually be worth. But I think some are lacking the imagination to see what is actually being developed here. And even those throwing around $1 trillion market cap for Tesla might be a bit conservative, because I think most can't even comprehend what is being developed by Tesla and others, and it will shock the world and beyond. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. So there is a discussion going on about what a humanoid robot will actually be worth. Some think it will be basically nothing, others think it will be the biggest market ever created. So we have analysts like Søren Basher that has done some really deep dives into the potential of humanoid robots and what that could be worth for someone like Tesla. And we have also heard Elon Musk talk about humanoid robots' potential being worth tens of trillions of dollars. But then we also have analysts like Gary Black who thinks this will be a very small market. And he thinks that Søren's analysis is way off, as Gary wrote on X. When investors start throwing around market cap potential of Tesla's robotaxis and bot in the tens of trillions, please keep in mind that the entire market cap of the S&P 500 is currently $53.9 trillion. The common flaw that I see in these hypothetical analyses is they tend to be based on supply rather than demand, so total addressable market times market share. Well, I would say yes, of course, because we just don't know what the total addressable market will be, because we will basically be printing labor. The total addressable market could potentially be global GPT, but that is only the beginning, as I will show you later. But trying to make the S&P 500 some kind of limiting factor just doesn't make sense to me on this one, as we are creating whole new markets that has never existed before. So we don't know what the total addressable market will be, like Søren Basser also tried to explain in his post about it. He got the correlation the wrong way around. The market cap of the S&P 500 is tied to the overall size of the global economy, and more specifically, the corporate profits. The market cap does not determine the size of the economy. So if the global economy dramatically expands, then the market cap expands too. What Gary is overlooking is the potential disruption of productivity and economy growth driven by AI-powered robots. The fixed robot we see in factories today are far different from the autonomous, intelligent robots that could dramatically reshape industries and contribute to a massive expansion in global GDP. These robots would be capable of creating wealth by doing human-like tasks across industries, unlocking new efficiencies and creating new markets. Exactly. New markets will be created and old ones will expand, and the total GDP will continue to grow. As Søren also points out, calculating the total addressable market for humanoid robots involve estimating the total potential revenue that could be generated by humanoid robots across different sectors, all of them, and use cases, of which there are thousands. And then he lists some examples like healthcare, home service, entertainment and hospitality, manufacturing and logistics, retail, education and entertainment, military and defense. And then he also made a list of why humanoid robots is clearly the best choice over a human, not just because it will be much cheaper for the companies, but also because they don't get sick, they don't strike, they don't need healthcare, there will be less parking space needed, no drug users, not showing up drunk to work, and the list goes on. So as Søren end off with here, to say the potential for humanoid robots in the market is limited is to completely underestimate what is in development. The expansion of markets driven by intelligent labor could dwarf anything humanity has been before. Yes, and just one other company, that is also owned by Elon Musk could basically create an endless demand for humanoid robots that CERN didn't even talk about, and I don't think Gary has the imagination for it, like mining the solar system as I talked about before, because right now SpaceX is founding their missions to colonize Mars through Starlink, but there are other opportunities for them to explore, like mining waters in our solar system for exploration of the solar system and beyond, because we actually have quite a lot of water in the solar system, like the lunar poles, asteroids, Mars polar caps, and moons like Europe and Titan, and more. Water is a jackpot. It can be split into hydrogen and oxygen for rocket fuel, used for drinking water and radiation shield. It's the oil of space exploration. The moon's south pole, which confirmed ice deposits, is already a target for NASA's Artemis program. And the moon is close and also loaded with helium-3. It's the obvious starting point, only a few days travel away. And what is helium-3, you might ask? Well, it could be a potential fuel for fusion reactors if we crack practical fusion. It's scarce on Earth, but plentiful on the moon. Estimates suggest millions of tons are embedded in the surface. Mining it could power future energy dreams for off-planet colonization. But it is estimated that helium-3 on the moon will be worth between $2 to $15 trillion, depending if we crack practical fusion or not. But that is quite a lot of money when we know that global GDP is about $100 trillion. But that is just one example of helium-3 on the moon mining the entire solar system when we have affordable, reusable Starship rockets flying around the solar system with thousands of humanoid robots and the Boring Company's digging machines seems like an obvious choice for someone like SpaceX that wants to have a self-sustainable colony on Mars. So mining is going to be a big part of that, and could also fund that huge and very expensive endeavor, and not only Starlink. So here we are talking about a completely new market that has never existed before, and a big one, with basically endless demand. But there are other markets that do exist that will probably grow significantly, as CERN also mentioned, because we do have helpers at home today, where rich people have housekeepers, or some of the more affordable helpers through au pairs. But that will be something most people can afford, that can afford a house or a car for that matter, and they will be able to have an housekeeper suddenly with a humanoid robot. So that is an existing market that will be expanding and become a much bigger market. And total addressable market for housekeeping on a global scale is probably in the ballpark of $100 billion. And that will grow significantly. And that is just one example of an already existing market that grows significantly. And you can do this with basically every job on the planet, like deliveries or waitress or whatever you can think of, will basically be able to expand its total addressable market, because labor will become so cheap. So we can also just look at labor as a whole, because that is basically what humanoid robots will end up becoming when we also have AGI running these things. And that is basically what world GDP is built up around, right? Labor. So every human worker in any factory will basically be replaced by a humanoid robot, as that will just make financial sense. Everyone not doing it will simply just be left behind, as they will become uncompetitive on price and speed. So that is about $100 trillion total addressable market, and growing. Is that big enough for you, Gary? If not, then just add the new market that we have just talked about, like mining the solar system. That is on top of global GDP. Then we also have solar system GDP. So to talk about the S&P 500 as a limiting factor for humanoid robot is really showing your lack of imagination. And you need imagination for this one, as we are creating something completely new. This is not just a fancy version of a stationary robot in a factory today. This is something the world has never seen before. So we do need to do this exercise that CERN has done, making huge spreadsheets trying to imagine what the potential for humanoid robots is. So yes, No one knows, but we are talking about trillions of dollars here, as demand will be basically endless, especially as these things will become cheaper and cheaper and more capable. So if I should make a guess, I would say CERN Basher is probably much closer to the truth than Gary is, as I think CERN is actually trying to be conservative here, but it is just the market opportunities are so huge the numbers quickly becomes insane. So no matter what Tesla's market cap will be in the future, if they will be one of the biggest players in the humanoid robot industry, it will make Tesla today look like a joke. And the stock price of $300 look like the bargain of the century. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.